A book review is a thorough description, critical analysis, and evaluation of the quality, meaning, and significance of a book, often written in relation to prior research on the topic. A book review's length may vary from a single paragraph to a substantial essay. The basic purpose of a book review, as I see it, is to help readers decide whether to read the book themselves. A book review should identify the central idea of the book, give the reader some indication of author's style, approach or premises, and then offer an overall evaluation. Thank you.
Hi friends, this is Rachel Rose Samuel. I am going to review the book I read. This is the book I read, Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. There are so many characters on it. This is Oliver Twist, the Artful Dogger, Fagin, and etc. There are so many pictures on it. I love this book very much. This story is about a young boy named Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist was an orphan who left to live in the workhouse. Oliver was an innocent and pure good boy. Then he was tried to sold from the workhouse. Oliver escaped to London because he could not stand the bad treatment everybody around him. In London, he met Fagin, the leader of a gang of thieves who taught children how to steal. Luckily, Oliver also found people who took good care of him and helped him with some problem he faced. The story is very interesting and it makes me want to read more. I like the fact Fagin tried to change Oliver, but he continued to be an innocent good boy. Finally, he met Brownlow, who took care of Oliver and loved him and adopted him. And they live happily. I like the end. I really loved reading Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was a British novelist, journalist, editor, etc. His notable works are A Christmas Carol, David Copperfield, A Tale of Two Cities, and Great Expectations, etc. This is the review of Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Thank you.
Hi all, I'm Agnika Pradeep of class 7A. Today I'm here to say a few words about the review of the story Toto-chan, the little girl at the window. Toto-chan, the little girl at the window is an autobiographical memoir written by Japanese television personality Tetsuko Koreanagi. The book was published originally as Madogiwa no Toto-chan in 1981 and became an instant bestseller in Japan. The book chronicles her life as Toto-chan and the wonderful times she spent in her new school, Tomoyogagan. The book begins with Toto-chan's mother coming to know of her daughter's expulsion from the school. Her mother realized that what Toto-chan needs is a school where more freedom of expression is permitted. Thus she takes Toto-chan to meet the headmaster of the new school, Mr. Kobayashi. From that moment, a great friendship springs much between master and the pupil. The book goes on to describe the beautiful times that Toto-chan has, the friends she makes, the lessons she learns, and the vibrant atmosphere that she imbibes. All of these are presented to us through the eyes of a child. Thus we see things through the eyes of a child and how the normal world is transformed into a beautiful, exciting place full of joy and enthusiasm. We also see in our role as adults as to how cleverly Mr. Kobayashi introduces new activities to interest the pupils. We see in Mr. Kobayashi a great man, a man who understands children excellently, and as to know he strives to develop their qualities of mind, body and heart. His concern for physically handicapped and his emphasis on equality of all children are remarkable. In the small yet beautiful girls' school, the children lead happy lives unaware of the great things going on in the world. The world was taken as staggered, yet in the school no signs of it are seen. But alas, one day the school is bombed and is never rebuilt. Thus in Toto-chan's years as a pupil at Tomoyogagan. The book is chronicle of a remarkable school and his remarkable headmaster whose kindness and generosity win the hearts of all his children. Indeed, such educators as Mr. Kobashi were in those days. Now in these frantic days, only one can dream of such a school where above all the things are needed for giving students freedom to study and enjoy the activities which they wanted as recognized. Thus, because of the remarkable atmosphere the kids experience at Tomeo, most of them rise to the top of their professions. The book wonderfully chronicles the beauty of life seen as from the innocent eyes of a girl. It was a novel that contained 232 pages. The Japanese name of the book is an expression used to describe people who have faith.
I hope all of you enjoyed the review of the story. Thank you and have a nice day.
Hello friends, I am Srivinayak. I hope you all like to read books. Today I am going to tell the review of the story Nina and the Baby Sparrow. The story is written by Pradubana. She wrote books for children and also a freelance journalist. Nina is the central character of the story. The story is about Nina and two little sparrows. I like this story very much. Once Nina's family planned to go for her aunt's wedding. All were happy except Nina because she was thinking about the baby sparrows. The sparrow's nest was kept in her room. So she bothered about how the parent sparrow would feed them. Finally, her mother told her a solution to keep the window open and let the parent sparrow to feed them. I think the best part of the story is Nina come back from Delhi. And after attending her aunt's wedding, there are two plump little sparrows flying all over the room. She became happy. And I also. The moral of the story is, every living beings have the right to live in our earth. And there are a solution for every problem. I hope you like this story very much. Thank you.
Oliver Twist.
Charles Dickens was an English writer during the Victorian era. The second novel of Dickens was the heartbreaking Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist is born in a workhouse. Oliver's mother died when she was giving birth to him. So he became an orphan. He spends the first 9 years of his life in the orphanage. Without tolerating the hardships of the orphanage, he escaped from there and reached London. He met Artful Dodger, who persuaded him to join Fagin's school of pickpocketers. There they taught the art of pickpocketing. Oliver couldn't adjust there. Fagin's boys tried to pickpocket the handkerchief of Mr. Brownlow. Oliver was arrested by mistake. Mr. Brownlow realized his mistake and he saved Oliver and brought his home. Unfortunately, Fagin caught Oliver from there. Another mission took place. Oliver shot. Fortunately, he reached in the hands of his relatives. Oliver is legally adopted by Mr. Brownlow. Oliver got his deserved property. Fagin is arrested and hanged. Monks who tried to cheat Oliver is died in prison. Oliver lived a happy life. This novel influenced me because of Oliver's innocence and good moral sense. It is a relief that the evils will be punished at the end. It depicts the social injustice in England at that time. While going through the novel, love, sorrow and compassion towards Oliver comes to our mind.
Hi, published at 1888. The author shows us the story of the selfish Jane and his garden. The main characters are the selfish Jane, the children, and the little boy. Shall we go to the story? Okay. The Jane ran and kicked out the children that were playing in his garden. The Jane built a wall around his castle. The spring comes everywhere of the country except the Jane's castle. There it stills winter. The hail, the frost, the north wind and the snow arrived into the garden. The children enter the garden and the spring comes back. The Jane saw the kids and he went running to play with them. The children got afraid and they jumped out from the trees and ran away. One kid didn't run because he was distracted to climb to a tree. The Jane helped him and the child kissed him. When the children saw this, the children came back running to play with the Jane. The Jane broke the wall and he started playing with the kids every day. The moral of the story is that being selfish and egoist isn't good. In the story, the author wants to tell the readers that a hidden way that he believed in God. Do you like this story? I know you like this story. Okay, thank you.
Hi everybody, today I am going to do a book review. The book name is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by the legendary J.K. Rowling. This book is the first book of the Harry Potter series. This book is about Harry who has just turned 11 and he has been invited to attend the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizarding. So that means he is a wizard. Harry is the orphan son of two wizards who met their demise at the hands of Lord Voldemort, a malevolent, all-powerful wizard, by a killing, with Harry being the only survivor in the chaos, thus leading to his fame in the wizarding world. As the boy who lived, Harry is then taken to the school in a train. While on the train, Harry met Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. He also encountered Draco Malfoy, who eventually becomes Harry's biggest rival at the students assembled in the Great Hall, where Harry and all other first-year students are sorted by a sorting hat between four houses: Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Harry is placed into Gryffindor alongside Ron and Hermione. At Hogwarts, Harry begins learning wizardry and discovers more about his past and his parents. Harry is also recruited for Gryffindor Quidditch team as a season. While exploring the school, one night Harry and his friends discovered a giant three-headed dog named Fluffy. They later find out Fluffy is guarding the Philosopher's Stone, an item that can be used to grant its owner immortality. Harry suspects that Potter's teacher, Severus Snape, is trying to obtain the stone in order to return Baltimore to physical form. The children learn from Hagrid that Fluffy will fall asleep if he hears music. Harry decides to try and find the stone before Snape does, but discovers that Fluffy is already asleep. To get past Fluffy and faced a series of safeguards. After getting the task, Harry discovers that it was defense against the dark arts teacher, Professor Quirrell, who was trying to claim the stone, and that Snape was protecting Harry. Quirrell removes his turban and reveals a weak Voldemort to be living on the backside of his head. Harry finds himself in possession of the stone. Voldemort attempts to convince Harry to give him the stone, but promising to give his parents back from the death. When Harry refuses, Quirrell attacks, but Harry's touch burns Quirrell's skin, reduces him to dust, killing him. Voldemort's spirit rises from Quirrell's ashes and passes through Harry, knocking him unconscious. Dumbledore explains that the stone has been destroyed and that Ron and Hermione are fine. Dumbledore also reveals how Harry was able to defeat Quirrell. Harry returns for the summer, happy to finally have a real home in Hogwarts. This book is one of the few books that children and adults can read together. If you like adventure and fantasy, you can't put this book down. Thanks for watching this video.
Hey guys, I'm Amna Fatima of Class 9th. Today, I am going to review the most heartwarming book I have ever read. That is The Diary of a Young Girl. The Diary of a Young Girl, also known as The Diary of Anne Frank, is a book of the writings from the Dutch language. Anne Frank is a Jewish teenager who wrote a diary while she was in hiding for 2 years with her family in the secret annex during Second World War. It is a real diary of a teenage girl that begins on Anne's 13th birthday, that is 12th June 1942. The diary ends suddenly on 1st August 1944 because they were arrested and was taken to concentration camp where her life was cut short by the unhygienic atmosphere of the notorious camp. She died at the tender age of 15. Among all the refugees of secret annex, only her father alive, and he decided to publish Anne's diary. It is simply an awesome book to be read and must be a part of one's library collections. The most important message of the story is that all people have the right to live in freedom. This is not a book but a bag full of nostalgia and horrible days for Anne. This cannot be described in words. It is such an interesting book that so many girls are inspired of this diary. Anne's diary makes everything seem so real. What happened with Anne and the family is absolutely heartbreaking. But this book forced me to know about the war. Not just me, but to anyone who shall start reading this book. The book is written in most simplistic style that as soon as one opens the first page feels the social settings and the pain that the Jews were going through due to the Nazis. Horror, fear, and empathy are what one feels while moving from one chapter to another. By the end of this book, tears are surely going to be welled up behind readers' eyes. This diary needs to be read by each citizen of the world. I salute her spirit.
Hi friends, I am Fatima Sura. I am in 8th standard. I am here today to give you a review about Homer's Odyssey.
The Odyssey is one of two major ancient Greek epic poems attributed to Homer. The Odyssey is a fundamental work in the modern Western canon, being the oldest extant piece of Western literature, second to the Iliad. Scholars believe that the Odyssey was composed near the end of the 8th century BC, somewhere in Ionia, the Greek coastal region of Anatolia. The Odyssey is Homer's epic of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, and his journey home after the fall of Troy. The story also tells about the returns of 4 other heroes: Nestor, Agamemnon, Menelaus, and the lesser Ajax. It takes Odysseus 10 years to reach Ithaca after the 10 years Trojan War. In his absence, Odysseus is assumed to have died, due to which his wife Penelope and son Telemachus must deal with a group of unruly suitors.
The ministers are the suitors of Penelope, who compete for Penelope's hand in marriage. Encouraged by the goddess Athena, Telemachus sets out to look for his father, visiting some of Odysseus' erstwhile companions such as Nestor, Menelaus, and Helen, who have long since arrived home. Menelaus tells Telemachus that he has heard that Odysseus is being held captive by nymph Calypso in Calypso's island. Odysseus was found by Telemachus, and the story goes on. And in any way, Odyssey is an interesting poem of Homer, and it is very adventurous. Thank you.
Hi friends, I am Fatima Suhana in 6th B. Today I am going to tell about Jonathan Swift and his famous story, Gulliver's Travels. Gulliver's Travels is an adventure story involving several voyages of Lemuel Gulliver, a ship's surgeon who, because of series of mishaps and route to recognized ports, ends up instead on several unknown islands, living with people and animals of unusual sizes, behaviors and philosophies. But after each adventure, he is somehow able to return to his home in England, where he recovers from unusual experiences and then sets out again on a new voyage. Jonathan Swift was an Anglo-Irish satirist, essayist, political pamphleteer, poet and cleric who became Dean of St. Patrick's Cathedral, Dublin, hence his common sobriquet, Dean Swift. He was born in 13 November 1667, Dublin, Ireland, and was died in 19 October 1745. Gulliver's Travels is quite interesting. It tells us about the adventurers with the great imagination. Though it is just an imaginary story, it also gives lots of ideas in our minds and help us to think of this world in different perspective. It gives us the start to think on how it would be like if it was real. It was liked by all the readers. The story Gulliver's Travels is very interesting and adventurous. Thank you and have a good day. Hi friends, I am Angel Rose Samuel. Today I am going to review one of the most popular book in India. This is David Bhagat's Half-Girlfriend. This is Bhagat's sixth novel, which was released on 1st October 2014 by Ruba Publications. This book is a story of a Bihari boy called Madhav. He fell in love with a rich girl from Delhi called Riya. Madhav didn't speak English well. Riya did. Madhav wanted a relationship. Riya just wanted friendship. Riya suggested a compromise. She agreed to be his half-girlfriend. The story starts from India and the characters went up to New York. In the climax, Madhav finally found Riya as his beloved. Climax is super. The book ends with seeing that both Madhav and Riya are successfully running the school and also have a side. This book carries two motivating messages for the readers. One is about education and other is about being passionate about your friend's friendship. I really loved reading Half-Girlfriend and now I am just looking forward to buy more books by Chetan Bhagat. Chetan Bhagat is a well-known Indian author, Bollywood screenwriter, social media influencer and motivational speaker. He was included in Time magazine's list of world's 100 most influential people in 2010. His notable works are 5 Points, Someone, 2 State, Making India Awesome, India Positive, Evolution 2020, What a Young India Wants, etc. This is the review of Chetan's best-selling book. Thank you.
My name is Fatima Zahra from 6th A. The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book is a collection of stories by the English author Rudyard Kipling. In the story, most of the characters are animals. The stories speak of Bagheera the Black Panther, Balu the Bear, Kaa the Sly Python, and of the Lord of the Jungle. Also the great tiger Shere Khan. But out of these legends, none is strange as the story of a small boy named Mowgli. Mowgli grows up with animals. An animal far stronger than a puny human. Mowgli has brains, but of course the people who have built great city also had brains. But they have very disappeared. Their cleverness comes with a price, you see. We can go to the story. Mowgli must defeat Shere Khan by grabbing Khan's tail. As Shere Khan struggled to break free of Balu's grip, the vultures carried Mowgli to safety. Shere Khan threatens to kill him as man is not allowed to live in the jungle. This causes Akela and his wolf pack to have Mowgli leave. When Mowgli leaves the wolf pack with Bagheera, Shere Khan ambushes him en route and fights with Bagheera. This is a truly magical tale. Thank you, friends.
Good morning to one and all. My name is Febina. I am here to give you all a small book review on the book named The Story of My Experiments with Truth, which is written by Mahatma Gandhi. Before going to the book review, I would like to say that book reading, that is something every student and everyone should prefer in your daily life and make it a habit or a part of your life. Book reading gives you many knowledge and also reduces your stress level and relaxes your mind. Also, it enhances the understanding of life and gives you a creative mind. Book reading also makes the person fall in love with writing. So I hope everyone enjoy reading books. So going to the book review, we know that it is written by Mahatma Gandhi, who is born on October 2nd, 1869 in Gujarat in Porbandar. His father is Karamchand Gandhi and mother is Putli Bai. He is also a colonial nationalist and an Indian lawyer. He was died on 30th January. So the book, The Story of My Experiments with Truth, is the biography of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi from covering his childhood also. It is published in his journal Navision in 1925 to 1929. Also, its English translation is published in the journal Young India. It is initiated and by the insistence of Swami Anand and also his close co-workers by encouraging him to explain the background of his campaigns. In 1998, it is designated as one of the 100 best spiritual books by a committee of Global Authority of Spiritual Leaders. Thank you.
Hi friends, my name is Nandanarthi from class 16. So today I am going to share with you a story. Its name was The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So we can start. The story of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe was written by C.S. Lewis. His full name was Clive Staples Lewis. He is a famous British writer and lay theologian, and he wrote the famous story Alice in Wonderland. He held academic positions in English literature at both Oxford University and Cambridge University. In this story, there are 4 children. The name of the children are Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy. They are sent out of London during Second World War. They have no idea of the magical journey they are beginning. In the darkness of the old country house where they are sent, the children stumble through an old wardrobe to the land of Narnia, where animals talk and magic exists. This is the first story of Narnia, written by C.S. Lewis, and it tells the story of how these 4 children, with the help of Aslan, the great lion, help defeat the white witch who holds Narnia.
The first of the children to make their way into Narnia is Lucy the youngest. There she meets Mr. Thamuel the Fawn, who confesses to her that he is an agent of the White Witch and he is supposed to capture any humans he meets. He explains that the witch has held Narnia under an enchantment which makes it always winter and never Christmas. The only way the witch can be defeated is to have 4 humans sit on the throne at the castle of Cair Paravel. When Lucy returns home, her brothers and sister think she is either lying or crazy. But soon Edmund follows Lucy into the world and meets the White Witch, who plies him with Turkish delight, extracting a promise from him that he will bring his siblings to her. Finally, all of the children go through the wardrobe into Narnia. There they go on a journey to rescue Thamnes, who has been arrested, find Aslan the Great Lion, and defeat the White Witch forever. While a wonderful adventure, the story is also allegorical in nature, telling symbolically the story of Christ's sacrifice on the cross. Aslan the Great Lion is a Christ figure who sacrificed his life to save Edmund's. During the journey to find Aslan, Edmund betrays his siblings and goes to join the White Witch, becoming her prisoner. After his rescue, the witch approaches Aslan, claiming the right to Edmund's life because of his traitorous act. Aslan later goes willingly to the witch in Edmund's place, letting her kill him. As the girls Lucy and Susan secretly watch, he is shorn of his mane, tied up and killed. As they despair, he suddenly appears to them alive again and leads them to the aid of Peter's army, defeating the witch forever. The children spend years in Narnia, where they grow up to be kings and queens, having many adventures. Until one day they are hunting in the woods and find their way back to their own world through the wardrobe. There they are children again and find that no time at all has passed. Thank you, friends.
Hi all, I am Aromal of Class Plus One. I am here with a review of Wings of Fire, the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Abul Pakir Jainulabdin Abdul Kalam, also known as the Missile Man of India, was one of the nation's most distinguished scientists. He served as the 11th President of India between 2002 and 2007. He is a recipient of India's 3 highest civilian awards, the Padma Bhushan, the Padma Vibhushan and Bharat Ratna. Let's move on to the story. Wings of Fire is the autobiography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, written jointly by Arun Tiwari and Abdul Kalam. It covers early life of APJ, his work in Indian space research and Indian missile programs. It's a story of a boy from a humble background who went to become a key player in Indian space research and Indian missile programs. This book contains 24 photos and is filled with a lots of science, stories of friendship, religion and family. The first chapter tells how Arun Tiwari persuaded him to give the details for an autobiography. He thought that there was nothing interesting in his childhood, but it paved the way for his personality. He also tells how he learned punctuality from his father and spirituality from his ideal mother, and how his friends and cousins inspired him to study hard. You may also find one-liners in this book like adversities always present, opportunities were in respect. In the first half, he tells about his studies, the professor who inspired him, etc. Further, he tells about his journey from Tamil Nadu to Delhi and describes all he saw in that journey. Then, he compared the diversities of our country with the contrasting nature of Kanpur and Bangalore. He also tells the difference between India and Assam. Then, he worked in LRC and SGFC. He further extended the story of serving the Indian Army at the back fort and reveals how he was appointed as the President of India. With this book, Kalam has given many messages to the youth and nation. Dr. Kalam was humble, spiritual, and insightful man. Every chapter contains very beautiful messages which can be applied by everyone. We are all born with a divine fire within us, and this book is about giving wings to that fire. Thank you.
Good morning friends, my name is Nandana. I am studying class 7B. Today I am going to present a book review, Long Walk to Freedom.
Long Walk to Freedom is the autobiography of South African President Nelson Mandela. Exploring terms of racial equality, political protest, and the ability of the human spirit to overcome the great hardship. Long Walk to Freedom is considered one of the most acclaimed and important autobiography of the late 20th century. I am moving to the author of this autobiography, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, born on 18 July 1918. He was a South African political leader, politician, revolutionary, and a philanthropist who played a key role in ending the apartheid regime of the 20th century. He served as India's first black president from 1994 to 1999. He was the winner of the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize for his role in bringing the apartheid regime to peaceful end. He died on 5th December 2013. Now I am moving to the summary of the autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. This book contains 630 pages. It's an autobiography of Nelson Mandela. Original language is English and originally published on 1994 by Little Brown and Co. The book profiles his early life, coming of age, education at 27 years in prison. It's an interesting book for read. You like this book very much. Nelson Mandela was the first black president of South Africa on 10th May 1994. The swearing-in ceremony took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre in Pretoria. He addressed the rainbow gathering with a speech telling that never, never and never again should it be that the beautiful land would experience the oppression of one by another. He wished that freedom in Africa should regime the army officials who could have caught and put him in jail before were saluting him to pay respect to the newly born democracy. The two national anthems were sung at the time of his swearing-in ceremony. He recalls that the history and pays homage to the national martyrs who sacrificed their lives for the sake of their motherland. He talks that man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. He talks about the twin obligations towards his family and obligations towards his nation. While discharging their duties, he found he was not free. Hence, he joined African National Congress and fought for the freedom of his country. He knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as the oppressed. The oppressor and oppressed alike are robbed of their humanity. Thank you.